What's up everyone, Steven here with techmaker.tv. This is building a decentralized chat with Node JS and aleph.im part 11. In the last episode, we drew these really ugly circles and sort of mapped out a basic data model that we're going to use here. And in this episode, I'm going to focus on letting a user create a channel and creating a channel membership for that user whenever we do that. So with that said, let's just jump kind of straight into the code today. So let's go ahead and go over to our editor. And in my case, it looks like I still have this thing running. What port is that on? 4567. So let's check that that's actually up. And it's probably going to tell me, well, no, let me restart the server really quick and just make sure that I know my username and password still. Let's refresh and see. So it's logging this out here. I think it's Samantha is who I'm logging in as. All right. So that should be good to go. Okay, cool. So the UX on this thing is obviously not great right now entirely. There's interesting things about it, but we need to work on it. But we're not going to do that yet. To start, we're actually just going to kind of focus on getting more backend stuff set up. So over here, what I want to start by doing is just setting up a page where you have to be logged in to get to it. But on this page, you're going to have a form where you can submit the name of a new channel you want to create. So let's come over here to our routes. And I'm going to kind of just copy and paste some stuff. And we'll see where we end up. Okay, so first thing, let's do well, let's see. I want to basically grab this. And I'm going to make this say app get channels new. So that's sort of a RESTful route for a channel basically. And I don't think we really need anything else. What does our login route look like? So we're just saying send file views login. So what I would like to do is render just let's see, I want to render it's just an index in here. What I'm going to do is create a new folder called channels. And if you know Rails, this is going to look a lot like some Rails stuff here, but I think it's a pretty nice convention. So we'll say new.html.ejs here. And then up here in get channels new, the only thing I want to do is render channels /new like that. And let's put like a test HTML in here, which is a piece of text. And let's go over and refresh and see if we have to log in again. Yep, I think we always do when we change this file. And once we hit this, get logged in, we should be able to go to /channels/new, and we should have a little error. Failed to look up in directory. Let's check this out. Okay, so let's pop back over into the code. You know, I think that I did this wrong. I think that needs to be .ejs, not html.ejs. In Rails, you have .html.erb. So I just kind of did that out of habit. So let's go refresh now and see. Okay, cool. So now we have our test being printed out. Nice. Okay, so what I want to do is go ahead and get this set up. And we can just copy essentially everything down here like this. Let's just start with the body tag. And then let's go ahead and close all this out. And I'm going to tab this in. And then we need to just end the HTML tag. Okay, so now we should have like Bootstrap and some stuff in here. So let me go ahead and just put test again. And let's just see what this looks like. So you can see the font change. So now we're using Bootstrap. Okay, so let's get our form set up. And what I'm going to do is just kind of rough in something that might look half decent here. So we'll put a div with class equal container. And, we may do this in a different video, but what would be nice is if you had all this in like a layout file, and then you don't actually have to basically copy all this head tag stuff every time you create a view. I'm sure there's a way to do that. I just don't know how to do it off the top of my head, so I'm just going to copy and paste all this stuff like I did. But in any case, let's go ahead and say div, and then we'll give it a class of row. And then I'm going to say div, and then say class equals col md6 offset md3. And this is all just Bootstrap stuff. So if you don't know Bootstrap, this is going to look foreign, but that's fine. And then next, let's do this. We'll say class equals card. Let's do another one. Div class equals card header. And then in here, let's put an h4. And we'll just say create a new channel. And then inside of here, we're going to have a card body. Actually, what I want to do is do a form, and we'll just leave all that blank for now. And then inside of here, I'm going to do div class equals card body. And then I'm going to do another div class equals card footer. And inside of there, I'm just going to have a submit. Is that not like a submit tag? Input type equals submit, value equals create channel, and then we'll give it a class equals btn primary btn block, like that. And we'll add an input here, type equals text, and we'll give this a class equals form control. Okay, let's go look into all of this. Looks like if we refresh here, cool. So we have our essentially a card set up. One thing I'm gonna do, just knock this thing down from the top of the screen. So MT5, which is margin top 5 in Bootstrap terminology. And then let's come here and let's put a label. And we haven't got any names or anything yet set up on the inputs, so I'm just gonna say channel name like that. And now we've got our form style set up anyway. All right, so let's go hook up the form. So really quick, let's just look at our register HTML. So literally all we're doing in here, I'm just gonna copy this thing. I'm always copying and pasting code and editing it. I don't know why, it's just kind of how I do things a lot. So what we want to do is set up an action, and what should we have this? I think we should just have an action of channels. So it's kind of a RESTful thing. So we'll have a post method here. So we're posting to the channels route, and then the input, we need to give it a name. So we'll say the name is name, and let's see, we'll give it a placeholder equals enter a name for your channel, like that. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I think that's basically all we need to do here. We'll axe that. I don't normally write a lot of like pure HTML forms. I'm usually building things with like Rails helpers and stuff like that, so I'm not used to the exact HTML syntax here all the time. So that's why I wanted to copy that and just make sure that I didn't write anything wrong. Okay, so now we need to write a post method, and I want to basically base it on our post messages here, because we're going to have to do a lot of stuff on the network. Not a lot of stuff. Well, a couple of things. We'll have to do a couple of things on the network. So I'm going to put this right here. Post messages room becomes post channels. So we're going to connect ensure login again, obviously. And then we want to say message. We want to say channel name equals Let's look at our form over on the index.js, EJS really quick. I just want to see on kind of a one-for-one exactly what this is, right? So we've got our name is message here. So if we look back over here, we're saying request.body.message. So that should correspond for us to request.body.name, I believe. Just checking that out one more time here. Yeah, let's try that. And let's see what else we need to do here. We want to, I don't know if we need to get where does the room come from in the params over here? I just want to make sure I know what I'm looking at. Maybe that's actually coming from when we post. So yeah, we're posting. So the room was coming out of the actual route, so we don't have to worry about that at all. We don't have a room in this case anyway, so we're not really worried about it at all. Just want to make sure we're not missing anything. So I'm going to comment all of this out for now. If you watch this channel very much, you'll realize I do a whole lot of sanity checks because I don't like to write a whole bunch of code and then realize I missed something tiny along the way. So we'll do console.log channel name here. And we'll save that, and let's just go try this out. I'm gonna have to log back in again. And let's see here. So now we're gonna go to /channels/new, and this is the name of my first channel. Okay, create channel, and basically it should hang because we didn't tell it what to do. That's not the right place. We want to see here. And you can see this is basically printing out, and we're not giving it any further instructions, so the server is just hung. And if we refresh, it'll stop spinning. So, okay, cool. So what I want to do now is essentially let's uncomment all of this, and let's review exactly what's going on here. Okay, so we've got the API server, the network ID. Well, first of all, we're importing our account from the user. Because remember, we stored some user details in our database, and obviously every time I mention this, I want to mention that the security of that, if this was a web application deployed running on a server, this would not be a good architecture at all. So we're going to come to that later, but for now, we can pull out the actual account, Ethereum account mnemonics from the actual user. So this basically brings in the Ethereum account, which allows us to post messages which will be signed with our address, essentially. Okay, so then we have this API server, we have the network ID, we have the channel, which I want to test something here. I think we can put whatever we want here. I don't think it needs to be test. I think we could do like techmaker chat, maybe techmaker_chat. I'm not 100% sure what the naming convention is supposed to be on this, if there's anything. I think it can be any kind of simple text, but I think that I read or heard somewhere that it needs to be all caps typically. I don't know. We're going to go with it like this and see how it works. Then what we're doing, we're saying post.submit, which again, post isn't like an artifact or a model that we have. Post is literally just like the type of request we're submitting to the network. And if you watch the data querying stuff, I think there's post aggregates and something else off the top of my head. I don't remember, but that's fine. Then we're using the account address that we just pulled back. This chat thing here is something, I'm just trying to remember. I think this is the type, is the attribute that this is. And if you watch the last episode, we talked about how we wanted to use this as the name of the database. So what I'm going to do is say channels here, and then the body is just going to be the channel name. And this won't have any refs, I don't believe, at least not right now. The API server is fine, the account is fine, and the channel is fine. So once we do this, what I want to do, how do I redirect in here? I'm always like, I'm getting myself confused because I'm more used to Rails, obviously. So what I want to do is just redirect back to the home page, I guess, just so that we don't sit here spinning. I'm wondering like if I can do a .then on this or something like that. Let's do this. Let's say, can we do await? And then I guess what we would need to do is async somewhere, maybe like here. Let's see if that works. Again, then maybe that. Let's try it. It might blow up on me here. Let's see. Some of this might work, some of it won't. I did more coding here than I normally do. So if something breaks in the first thing that we did, that's why I normally do all those sanity checks. Because anyway, so we'll say Samantha log in, and then we'll go to /channels new, and let's say trying to create a channel on Aleph, and we'll say create channel and see what happens. So actually it did what I wanted, which is cool, on the first try. No big deal, nothing to see here. Okay, let's go to the Explorer and go to, let's just go back to the main homepage here. Maybe. And let's check out the latest messages. Okay, so we have a post to channels. So this is our database name. Let's click on this thing. Okay, so the channel, again, we're using the word channel, which is going to make some kind of overload on that word, because channel is also sort of part of the Aleph architecture. So we have the channel is the type is channels. The channel is TechMaker chat, which channel in this case, I'm thinking of sort of like that's the name of the database. That's how I'm thinking about it. Then you can see my address here, and you can see trying to create a channel on Aleph. So I'm wondering how hard it will be now that we've done this to actually execute another. Where did I go? Where am I? Here we go. Post channel. So we're going to await this thing. Let's capture this in let response equals, and then let's console log that response here and see what we have. Okay, and let's go back. Not here, sorry. Let's go back here. It's gonna make us log in. So what we need to do is when somebody creates a channel, we actually want them to be added to that channel. So if we go back over to our sketchpad here, so let's say I create a channel, I want to automatically be added to it. It doesn't really make sense for me to create a channel and then not be a part of it. So I want to be the first member of the channel. So to do that, what I want to do is try this again and console log the response. So we'll go to channels new. This is the second channel. And we'll create this and we'll wait a second. Shouldn't take too long. And let's pull this up and look at it here. So we've got all the data that we just sent, obviously, and then we have this item content here, and then we have the item hash. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to keep this data kind of in view here, and we're going to essentially say, okay, now we want to await aleph.post.submit, and we'll say account.address. Yeah, that thing's covering up my stuff above. And this one, I want to create a new object or item in basically so in terms of tables, like imagine that, I know this is the type right here in this argument, and this is what we're entering here in Aleph terminology, but I think of it kind of like, okay, at least this is how I'm thinking about it now. Again, kind of said at the very beginning of this whole series, this is all experimental and learning. So this may not turn out to be exactly the way we want to do things in the future, but for now, I'm thinking of this like the database table name. So up here, we're adding an object that has one attribute, which is just channel name, to the channels table. So it's really simple data model, just a channel to hold that name. That's basically it. So on this one, what I'm going to do is say it's channel memberships. And what I want to do here is, let's see, I don't know how I just jumped like I did. Okay, what I want to do is, how do I create a ref? That was down here somewhere. So I don't actually need to put a body in this, because basically all I'm going to be doing is using it as a join model. And I don't really need to store anything in here. So all I really care about, I'm going to pass an empty object here, see if that works, and then a ref, which is going to be, I think I'm going to do the item hash of that channel. Okay, so to do that, what I want to do, I'm really not used to having this server thing. I don't develop like this, so I'm just trying to show how everything fits on this, or get everything to fit on the screen at the same time, but this is not my typical workstation, so I'm always kind of scrolling and doing weird stuff, so sorry about that. Yeah, and I just got myself lost. It's up here. Okay, so what I want to do is basically just await. We're going to post submit. I'm going to put an empty hash there, or empty object, and I need to go ahead and close that out like that. And what I want to do for this next argument is I need to put the refs there, and I think, it's a ref, and it's just a string. So, and then we need to give it all of these things. So what I'm going to do is basically copy all of this stuff there, and we'll put it below. And then on my refs, I'm going to do response.item hash like that. And let's see if that works. Okay, so let's save that. We're going to have to log in again and all that jazz. And let's see if we get two objects created on the network. So again, it's Samantha. And let's go to channels new here. Testing with channel membership. Obviously this is a bad channel name, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. You'll be able to call it whatever you want. So create the channel. Let's see if we get to our redirection, and we do. So let's come over here. So here we go. Now we got channels and channel memberships. Okay, so let's check this out. So I've got a testing with channel membership here. And if I come over and I look at the raw stored, and I look at this item hash, let's copy that. Well, we can't really paste it anywhere, so let's just look at it. 3815 6E8B. Let's go back up here and look at the channel membership thing we just created. And if we look at the raw stored in the refs, that's what we care about. Where are the refs? I feel like I'm just not seeing it somewhere. Maybe we just didn't write the code right. Let's go back and look at that really quick. So the chat is working when we post. So if we look at that, where is that? Down here. Okay, so we have ref room, which is just a string. And then up here, I put refs. I keep saying refs, but it's ref. Okay, so let's try it again. And that's going to make us log out again. So one, hopefully last time for this video. And let's try it. So we'll go to channels, new, final test, hopefully. Okay. Create this channel. And let's see what happens on the network. So go to the dashboard here. Okay, so we got our channel. And in the raw stored, we've got our item hash D803, blah, 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 155A. Go back over here, check the channel memberships. If I can click on it. And we've got a ref, which is D803, 155A. So that's basically what we need to do. And we can see that the address is 0xAD something something. So if we go back and look one more time at our channel here, we'll see that the address is 0xAD something something. So basically, this is the essential architecture to have, you know, a list of channels that you've created. Now we've got to make it so that other people can join. I think what I'm going to do in the next video, I'm going to go back to the user interface, and what we're going to do is make this your list of channels. And so to start, it's actually going to be just yours that you created, and then we'll add the ability to actually join and search for other people's channels somehow. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work. It may be some horrendous thing where you actually have to copy the item hash or something like that to start and join it. I'm not sure. So or we could just list all channels, but that's going to become cumbersome if this were to be used by any serious number of people, and kind of goes against some of the ideas I have for the app. But you know, we got to do what we got to do to get it working. So the next episode, we're going to work on getting the UI hooked up here, and then potentially work on making it so you can join a channel that's not yours. And then in the last, or maybe, I don't know, third or fourth in this little segment where we're dealing with the architecture, we'll make it so that you can post messages to a channel. I think that this architecture is going to work. It may not. We may run into a snag somewhere. I'm always sort of prefacing because, like, I've never done this exactly with this technology before. So if we hit a snag, we'll back out and try something else, but I think this is going to work. So all of that said, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I'll talk to you next time.